Live from our studios in the nation's capital, your most reliable source for news, national, regional, and the rest of the world. Welcome to Kairi FM's Major News. Here's your presenter.
Good evening, welcome to Kairi FM's Major News. I am Priska Julian. Here are the headlines making the major news this evening. In national focus, Speaker of the House critiques opposition strategy to stay out of the House, and Dr. Henderson sworn in as parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency. In regional news, St. Lucia's CMO calls for urgent action to lessen impact of Omicron, and internationally, more than 20 killed in attack on Dr. Congo displaced persons camp. The details of the news right after the break.
You looking for good eggs? I mean quality fresh eggs straight from the farm? Well, we have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the quantity. We've got the right amount. Visit us at Prince City downstairs Kairi FM on Independence Street for your fresh farm eggs, or call telephone 448-7331, 448-7330 or 448-8752. And we'll get you your fresh farm eggs.
I'm not exaggerating, boiling with excitement.
Do you listen to Kairi? Download the Kairi FM Android app on Google Play Store for 24/7 radio on the go. Visit our website at www.kairifm.com and stay connected with all your favorite programs. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and never miss a beat on your genuine sound. Kairi FM.
This Christmas, unlock a new digital world with 45% off a new DL3 Plus Pro smartphone from Digicel. Get it now when you buy a 30-day 25GB Prime Jumbo bundle to enjoy all your favorite Digicel apps. The best smartphone with the best apps. Enjoy a 6.2-inch screen to watch more Christmas classics in Playgo. Dual 5-megapixel camera to capture more Christmas moments. And then store it all in Billo, from blockbuster movies and chop-chopping music to streaming live sports, video chats, and so much more. Get yourself a DL3 Plus Pro for $200 or gift it to someone you love. Visit a Digicel store today.
Welcome back. We welcome our listeners on Variety Radio in Antigua and Flow TV Channel 119 in St. Lucia. Speaker of the House of Assembly Joseph Isaac has blamed the parliamentary opposition's actions for hindering the work of parliamentary committees. Isaac commended the move by Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett this morning to propose an amendment to the order paper to include item number 12, which is the appointment of parliamentary committees. The Speaker of the House says if it was not for that decision, the opposition side would be at a disadvantage.
In the last sitting, there was disagreement on certain matters, but in the opposition own wisdom, they decided to stay out of the House, thereby locking out themselves from nominating members to the committees. So in other words, your action, that's the opposition action, or their strategy, impacted the work of the committees, the subcommittees, Public Accounts Committee, Standing Order Committee, Privileges Committee. All these committees had a quorum, so they could meet. But if, for example, as the chairman of the Standing Orders Committee, I call a meeting and proceed, then it will be seen as I'm taking advantage. In that matter, I would like to commend the Honorable Prime Minister for actually agreeing to take up the matter now. If he refused, it would mean that there would not be members on the other side, on the opposition side. And the standing order clearly say that you should try to have a balance.
The parliamentary committees are Public Accounts, Privileges, Standing Orders, Parliamentary Proceedings, and Creed Parliamentary Oversight Committees. This morning, Isaac says he has tried his best to strike a balance in his decisions affecting the opposition and government side. He was at the time citing Standing Order 44-4 of the House of Assembly. Government is seeking parliamentary approval of supplementary estimates amounting to $275,150,370.13 for year 2020-2021. Newly sworn-in parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency, Dr. Vince Henderson, says he intends on presenting a comprehensive development plan for Grand Bay. Henderson took his oath at this morning's meeting of Parliament. He's returning to the government side as a member of Parliament after having served 2 terms from 2000 to 2009 as a member for the St. Joseph constituency. During his initial term in office, he held the portfolios of Minister for Housing and Physical Planning, Minister for Agriculture and the Environment, Minister for Education, Human Resource Development, Sports and Youth Affairs, and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Labor. He has also served as the ambassador to the United Nations and OAS and the country's geothermal consultant. In his acceptance speech at today's session of Parliament, Henderson says he did not imagine returning to serve as a parliamentary representative.
Mr. Speaker, I am humbled to return to the Parliament once again. And as you said, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I had no plan to, but the occasion that has brought me there has put me in deep reflection. And I want to thank the people of Tetmon, Mountain, and Grand Bay for their warm welcome, hospitality, allowing me to visit their homes, their institutions, their churches, to meet them where they live, where they work, where they recreate, and to treat me as a brother, as a son, as someone who's a member of their family.
Dr. Henderson told Kairi News outside of Parliament that he is happy to be back in Parliament to serve not just Grand Bay, but to help build a dynamic Dominica.
It's with humility that I have assumed that position, and of course with the commitment to serve the people of the Grand Bay constituency. It feels good to be back in the Parliament where I can represent the people of the Grand Bay constituency dutifully, faithfully, and with diligence. And also for me, it's a great opportunity to make my contribution to Dominica. Parliament, of course, is not a new place to me, but it's been a while since I've been there. But I look forward to working with my parliamentary colleagues, especially those on the government side, to ensure that we can continue working to bring more development to Dominica as we pursue a dynamic Dominica.
He says his preoccupation is to implement a comprehensive development plan for Grand Bay constituency.
I have spoken extensively about those plans. My preoccupation right now is to get them implemented. And you will see in time, you will see as they're implemented, but we have a comprehensive development plan. And we're hoping that we can actually have even a formal presentation of some of the key things that we're pursuing. And I will be meeting some of the teams this week and moving very quickly to formalize and finalize some of the things that we will be pursuing the rest of this term and hopefully beyond that. So there's a lot that I'm sure that we will have time to talk about in due time.
Parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency, Dr. Vince Henderson. Coordinator of the digital economy, Robert Tung, says the digital economy is a critical building block towards transforming and building a dynamic Dominica, and Dominica should arrest the opportunities available now to help build this dynamic Dominica through the digital economy. He says government wants to use all available tools to simplify the way business is conducted and improve the efficiency and effectiveness of public services to build the skills and opportunity of the future. It also aims to strengthen and safeguard the country's resilience. The digital economy has already provided job opportunities for several Dominicans in order to cushion that blow that many persons have suffered as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic through job loss.
We are prone to many different disasters, and we have to ensure that we can use technology to be able to bounce back very quickly to move our country forward. To accomplish these objectives, infrastructure is important for the digital economy, for the society and the country. This includes wired and wireless connectivity, but also a broader innovation ecosystem that enables, supports, and catalyzes digital effects. So one of the amazing things that government and the telecommunication operators in Dominica have made remarkable progress in rebuilding connectivity infrastructure in the country during the last few years, especially considering the devastating impacts of Hurricane Maria. And clearly, currently, the operators have fiber optic cable rings covering the entire country, mobile phone subscriptions at 117%, 70% of Dominicans use the internet, and social media. Over 50% of Dominicans use social media. They may have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and don't talk about WhatsApp. I think it's basically 100% of persons are using WhatsApp for communication and for technology, and people don't even use regular calls anymore. Everybody's using WhatsApp to call individuals.
And on the legal aspect of the digital economy, Mr. Tong says the laws must be changed and therefore consultants will be brought in to draft the necessary laws regarding the digital economy.
We will bring in consultants who will come in specifically to allow us to change and also draft. We also have drafters because we realize that sometimes our systems can be overloaded, and to have our existing staff try to do all of that work. So we're bringing in a firm that will have the necessary staffing to make all of those changes and present them for ratification, and then obviously onward move them to Parliament for ratification. So that is also a very critical piece inside of it, making sure that our laws are up to date to move us forward.
Tong says going forward, every Dominican will have a digital identity in order to make business transactions faster and flawless.
Every single Dominican will have what we call a digital identity. So when you go to the passport office now, all of that information will be there already. Imagine how efficient the government system will be when we move forward in that direction. Have our digital strategy. We've ensured that we engage private citizens, government employees, to ensure that there's wider buy-in. And actually, the final stakeholder session to present our digital strategy to the committee of permanent secretaries and also onward to the ministers and in the cabinet. That will be held on the 8th of December virtually. So we have gone through the entire strategy. We've listened to everyone. We've incorporated everything inside of there. And we're having a final session on December 8th to ensure that we get it right. So just to update you now on the digital transformation project. This project came into effect on December 2020 and began operations in January 2021. Year one focused on the administration of the project, including the employment and staff. Preparing, and the question you asked here, preparing terms of references for the engagement of a legal firm that will review the existing laws, taking into consideration the new disposition of the digital economy. So that is a priority for 2022. So we've done all of the work so we can hire that firm to come in.
Coordinator of the Digital Economy, Robert Tong. Dominica State College students interested in pursuing degrees at the Western Illinois University will soon be able to transfer credits to there and cut down on their study time. The Western Illinois University and the Dominica State College signed a memorandum of understanding today during a virtual ceremony. This opportunity will allow students to matriculate easier, offer faculty and staff partnerships, provide professional development for students and staff through scholarships, and offer many other mutual benefits. Dr. Peter says the partnership will reap benefits on both ends.
I think we both have something to offer. Our country is a poor, small country, but our Prime Minister have indicated that he wants us to be the first climate resilient country in the world. I believe Western Illinois University can help us train the future engineers, future disaster preparedness, supply chain managers of our country. And we in return can provide opportunities for exchange of faculty and students to begin to understand what it is to be living in that part of the world, the Caribbean. It's not only beaches and sun, but there are very challenging and good things happening in the Caribbean. And we'd like to invite students from Western Illinois to our country. We want to ensure that down the line, as you said, we want that to be a long-standing and continuing agreement. And we would want to see an articulation agreement later in the process, but there's a lot of time to do that.
President of DSC, Dr. Donald Peters. Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dominica State College, Dr. Humansir Eugene, says an articulation agreement is being worked on to facilitate the credit transfer process for state college students.
In this changing global economic landscape, we as a higher education institutions must take the lead to ensure recovery of our global economy. Therefore, more than ever, partnerships like the one made official today between our institutions are needed. We at DSC look forward to long, productive, and enriching partnership with West Illinois University. This partnership will provide so many with the opportunity to be dedicated and impactful global citizens. Right now, we have been working on our articulation agreement. So our students from the Dominica State College will get credit transfers into West Illinois University. So their period of completing their degrees will be shorter. Also, scholarships, different scholarships will be available. Also, we have a lot of recruiting between West Illinois and the Dominica State College.
The Bureau of Gender Affairs has been strengthening its response to violence against women and girls. At 86% of reported cases of gender-based violence continues to be women and girls. 16 days of activism continues to raise public awareness of violence against women following the observance of International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women on November 25th. Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Melissa Morgan, says engaging a social worker is among actions taken to strengthen the department's response to increased abuse cases of women.
Based on anecdotal evidence and people that I speak to every day and clients coming in, it definitely sends a call that we need to increase resources available for survivors. And on the part of our ministry, we have been doing so. Our ministry actually is up the budget to provide safe housing for clients who are in extremely bad situations. We've included added a social worker to our office who can provide direct support. We've increased awareness and advocacy programs. So we've been doing what we can on our end. But it is indeed a concern, and it's something that we're analyzing and putting things in place to strengthen our response to violence against women.
Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Melissa Morgan. National epidemiologist Dr. Shaladin Ahmed was among 5 men awarded by the Bureau of Gender Affairs recently for their positive contributions to society. Minister for Gender Affairs Dr. Addis King presented the awards at a ceremony at Jungle Bay Resort in observance of International Men's Day. Acting Minister of Health Kent Edwards received Dr. Ahmed's awards on his behalf. Dr. Ahmed has responded to and given guidance for management of viral diseases, including COVID, and his support has shown an unwavering dedication to assisting Dominica to remain disease-free. Another awardee, Dr. Vince Savre, a medical officer who has been part of the COVID-19 response team since the beginning of the pandemic, has worked without any further remuneration during the pandemic.
I am one of 3 brothers, so it's a great honor to my father. My father is our greatest role model, and it gives me great pleasure so that my father can see us living up to the example that he's given us. I only hope we can be such an example to the next generation of men. Just keep on doing the work as honestly as you can, as frustrating as it may be sometimes. Just keep on going at it for a good cause.
Medical Officer Dr. Vince Savre. The police frontline team was also a recipient of an award. Leading fireman in the Casa Bruce district, Darren Lazar, who was instrumental in preparing the nation for the outbreak of the coronavirus, and Fire Officer Michael Riley, who volunteered to take up duties during the pandemic while on vacation.
Honored receiving it, and like you could hear the citation, well, it's something that we're accustomed of doing, and like I said, to God be the glory. As long as He give me the strength, I'll continue serving my country.
We're always at it, and we will stay dedicated to that. As the minister said, yes, we got the award individually, but it's also a team effort. So we also received it for the guys at the station.
And on to regional news, St. Lucia's Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belma George has called for urgent action to reduce the impact of the new COVID-19 variant and COVID-19 in general. Belma George said in a statement that the country's first line of defense must be prevention, followed by control and reduced transmission measures. She added that the effectiveness of the available vaccines is being reviewed, but she noted that the current vaccines remain effective against severe diseases and death. She explained that Omicron is accurately detected using the PCR method, but is not known whether a rapid antigen test detected. The CMO says vaccination remains a significant measure at this point in reducing the health implications of this new variant. And in international news, at least 22 civilians have been killed in an attack on a camp for internally displaced people in the northeast of the Democratic Republic of Congo, an aid worker and civil rights leader have said. Red Cross coordinator Mambo Bapu Mance told the AFP news agency on Monday that 20 people were buried immediately in 2 common graves, while another 2 who had died from their wounds were buried later. The same camp in Ituri province was attacked less than a week ago when 29 people were killed. Mance accused the armed group Cooperative for the Development of Congo carrying out the attack on Ivor Camp on Sunday. Civil rights group president Sharit Banzer put the toll at 22. Banzer said this is the 3rd attack by these outlaws against displacement sites in the space of a week in this part of the country. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell called for the strong action against the perpetrators, adding that the EU condemns the new appalling attacks committed by the military group against civilian populations, particularly the internally displaced persons. You've just heard the national, regional, and international news. Here's a recap of the headlines. In national focus, Speaker of the House critiques opposition strategy to stay out of the House, and Dr. Henderson sworn in as parliamentary representative for Grand Bay constituency. Regionally, St. Lucia's CMO calls for urgent action to lessen impact of Omicron, and internationally, more than 20 killed in attack on Dr. Congo displaced persons camp. And those were the major headlines this evening. Catch Kairi News on the go 24 hours a day on www.kairifm.com. Also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/KairiFM. Or follow us on Twitter at KairiFM Dominica. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Priska Julian. Good evening.